Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 14, National Football League, San Diego Superchargers taking on the New York Football Giants. And to me, this was the most complete football game that I've seen the San Diego Chargers play all season long. And I feel like they should be the 6th seed. I think they're the most complete team of all of those 6 and 7, 7 and 6 football teams that's in the hunt right now. Out of that conglomerate of New York Jets, San Diego Chargers, Baltimore Ravens, Miami Dolphins, I feel like this Chargers team is the most playoff ready. And the Ravens are 7 and 6 right now. They're atop that list. They're the number 6 seed currently. Dolphins are 7 and 6 as well. And so right now, the Chargers have a lot of work to do, and I think they have too much to overcome to get into the postseason because of that loss to the Miami Dolphins earlier in the season and them just not winning games down the stretch that they've had opportunities to win. But I look at this Chargers team. And this was a dominant performance at home against a team that you are supposed to dominate in the New York Giants. But it was an all-around effort. Giants come into the game at 5 and 8. They're clinging to some slim playoff hopes, hoping that they can do enough to get in. Or excuse me, they come into the game at 5 and 7, and they're just clinging to some slim playoff hopes, hoping that they can do enough, rally to come back and try to win the division, because that's the only way they're going to get in. They're not going to get in via the wild card. So they were thinking to themselves, why not us? Why can't we put together one of these magical December runs that extends out into January and through February and win another Super Bowl? That's what they were thinking, but this isn't that in New York, and I've been saying that all season long. And they marched into San Diego, and they came out flat. And that's how they've been all season long. Eli Manning was not sharp. He throws an early pick on a tip drill to one of the linebackers in San Diego. It's picked off, and that sets off a chain of events. You also get an early fumble from Andre Brown, and the Chargers just took off from there. After the fumble, the early interception, Phillip Rivers was Phillip Rivers, like he's been all season long, extremely sharp. You get a 100-yard campaign in this game from Ryan Matthews. He was dynamite. And, I mean, what can you say that hasn't already been said about Keenan Allen this season? I mean, he's been a stud. And like I said, I know I've talked about him all year long, and I've talked about how I felt like the Chargers, and I said this from day one, I felt like the Chargers got a steal when they got Keenan Allen in the 3rd round, because he was a first-round talent. I mean, all year long, guys like Mike Mayock was praising this guy and talking about how he was a first-round pick. And if you watched him at Cal, you knew the production was there and it merited him being a first-round pick. But the injury and the slow time in the 40, it just turned people off. And I was like, this guy's a football player. He's ready to go now, and you're seeing it. He's a playmaker. He's emerging very quickly as one of the better receivers, young receivers in this league. And I think they hit the jackpot with him. He's a number 1 receiver in this league, and he's really showing off this year. And he showed off against the Giants early in this game. 2 touchdowns. He was dominant. And this was, like I said, this was the most complete game the Chargers have played all season long. I mean, you look at what they were able to do defensively. Like I said, they forced the turnovers in this football game. They didn't turn it over themselves. You get a 100-yard effort from Ryan Matthews. You get just another one of these really efficient games from Phillip Rivers, and you really dominate this game from start to finish. The Giants were never in this game. I mean, before they even got on the scoreboard, it was something like 20 or 21 to nothing. I mean, they really jumped on top of this Giants football team and dominated this game, did the Chargers. And so if you're looking for a silver lining, if you're the Giants, look, you battled back in this season, okay? To start out 0 and 6 and to be at 5 and 8 after this game in Week 14, I mean, that says a lot about your football team and their mental toughness. But this Chargers team, to me, And that's what this game was about. These Chargers taking care of business at home against a team they're supposed to take care of business against. And that's what they did. I feel like the Chargers are a year away from making the postseason, from really being the team that they want to be. And again, first year head coach and Mike McCoy, first year general manager and Tom Telesco, I think they've done a fabulous job of putting this team in a position to even be in the hunt in the playoff race in the AFC in their first season, because of all of the things that they had to do and the draft that they had. Manti Te'o is coming on. I'm starting to see him flash each and every single game. He's making a lot of tackles. He's making impactful plays. This is a team that I feel like if they can just continue to play hot football, they can't lose any more games. They have to finish the season 9-7, because I feel like 9-7 is going to be the number that's going to get you into the postseason. But they need a lot of help, and that's why I don't think they're going to get in, because not only do they have to finish clean, okay, and they started that out well by winning this game. Not only do they have to finish this season clean, they need help. They need the Dolphins to drop 2 of their next 3. They need the Ravens to drop 2 of their next 3. And I just don't see that happening. I just don't see both of those teams having essentially late season collapses, because that's what losing 2 out of 3 would be in this situation for either one of those teams, for San Diego to leapfrog them and get into the postseason, and then them have to win all 3 of their remaining games, 4 if you count what they had to do in week 14. And so I just don't see it happening. They needed to beat the Dolphins in week 11 or so, or whenever that game was in Miami. They had them on the ropes. They let them off the hook. They had to have that game. They didn't get it. And so you find yourself in the predicament that you're in now. But this was a dominant performance from start to finish by the San Diego Chargers at home against a team that they are supposed to dominate, and they did exactly that. Kudos to this offensive line in San Diego, too, because they've been playing some good football all season long, and they did it again in this game. Tell you what, 37-14 domination by this Chargers team says it all in this game. They get it done. They go to 6-7 and keep their slim playoff hopes alive. But again, that's all you can do, is your part if you're the Chargers. Win football games, stack them up like bricks, and let them sort it out at the end, and hope you do enough when it's all said and done to get into the postseason. So if you're the Giants, that essentially ends your season. Officially, you've been eliminated from playoff contention. But again, if you were a Giants fan, you had to know you were eliminated from playoff contention when you started the season 0-6. But this officially puts them and their season to rest. Now they're just playing for pride at the end of this season. So big win for the Chargers. It keeps them alive in the AFC playoff race as that number 6 seed. They're looking to get in, but like I said, it's going to be a tough sledding up that hill because of the damage they did earlier in the season, not being able to close out football games that they probably should have won. And so we'll see, but this was a dominant performance again by these Chargers. Look, all you can do is what you can do, and the Chargers did exactly that in Week 14, dominating the Giants 37-14. So that's going to do it for me here on this edition of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. And look, I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 14 of the National Football League.